Hi, I am Capri and this channel is about hula hooping. In this video you will see a tutorial for this trick that I showed you right now, which is called a ISO bounce. So grab your hoop and let's give it a go. As you can see, for the needs of this video, I've switched from this pink plain hula hoop into a striped green hula hoop so that you can see the movement of the hoop better. Okay, to begin our tutorial, let's focus first on understanding the general idea of the movement of isolations. It's like a family of hula hoop tricks in which the center of your movement is not your body, like in the case of spins, for example, the hand spin. Here in the center of the movement is your hand, which is producing the movement, okay? Now let's take a look at isolations. So isolation is a type of movement where the center of the movement becomes the center of your hoop, like it is attached like a huge, steering wheel of a big truck. Yeah, it's more for kids. Alright, so let's jump into the ISO bounce, which ISO is also coming from isolation. What we will be doing here is we will be maintaining a position of a hoop, but meanwhile also transferring it, but in a elevator in between two walls, okay? Alright, no more abstract. Let's get into the details and explain it piece by piece and step by step. So the first movement will be to transfer your hand, grabbing the hoop, holding the hoop from one side to the other without changing its position, okay? So once we grab the hoop on its side, on its upper edge, and our hand is more or less close to the right hip, we want to transfer the hand to the side or to the height of your left hip without changing the position of your hoop and going back to the first side, okay? So I'm holding the hoop from above on the right side, on its upper edge, and I'm transferring it from the left to the right, okay? So this will be the first movement to understand to enter the ISO bounce, okay? If we would like to go for a shortcut, which is going to be a second step, you can also begin from here. We will begin in this position on the height where the lower edge is on the height of our hips. I'm holding the hip only with my right hand. I'm letting it drop down so that my hand will be placed on the height of my hip, and then I'm making the transfer from one side to the other, and I'm lifting the other hand, the hand on the other side up, okay? So it's like a shortcut in this movement. So I'm going from here, down, left, up, down, left, up, okay? Down, left, up, down, right, up, okay? So this is the general movement in the beginning of the ISO bounce, okay? So I'm going from here, down, switching to the other side, and going up. When I'm doing the movement more fluid, it looks like this, okay? It looks like my hoop is trapped in between two walls and it's only bouncing up and down, okay? And I'm actually letting it do the bounce, letting it use its energy, use the energy of the drop, of lifting it up, okay? You can see what I'm doing with my hand. I'm going down, switching the sides, going up and the other way. The same movement, but to make it look more fancy and to make it really like an isolation illusion, I want to add the second hand in the same motion. So it's gonna go from the side down to the other side and go up, and then follow like in a mirror to the other hand. How does it look like all together? So I'm holding the hoop only with this hand, and this hand, this palm, maintains open. It's only bringing the illusion that I'm actually holding it, okay? And at any point of this trick, I'm not closing the second fist, and I'm not holding the hoop with it, okay? There's another trick, which is gonna be switching the hands, okay? But in this case, we're only using the one hand, either it is in your case right or left, in my case it is right hand, to control the movement. And the other hand is only making the illusion of holding it, so it's constantly like slightly open, okay? So once going into the movement, going down, switching to the other side, I'm also sliding the second hand on the surface of the hoop and going up, producing the illusion of constantly holding the hoop with both hands, okay? In normal motion time, okay? And going a little slow-mo again, so from here I'm letting it drop down. This hand is not holding. I'm letting it drop down, switch the sides, and lift it up. Go down, switch the sides, go down, switch the sides. And faster. Okay. And now, let's mix it a little with a little bouncy mode of your body, and maybe let's go a little to the sides to produce this illusion that is actually bouncing on the ground. And if I bounce it a little to the side, I will have to catch it on the side as well, and then go back into the center, and once it was bounced from here, it will go in the opposite direction, so I have to catch it and then go down and maybe go back to the center. Okay, so use your imagination here, and either you want to stay in this vertical, two walls corridor and stay inside, producing the motion in a vertical direction up and down, or maybe you want to combine it a little with jumping to the sides. So here, as you see, you have a lot of possibilities. Now let's jump into the hints and resume part, where I will grab it all together in a shorter version. Okay, so first, quick resume. We are going from one side to the other. Get familiar with this movement, with changing the sides of your hand. Then try to lift it on the side and let it drop down. Okay, so this is the second step. Getting familiar with the movement itself. Then adding the second hand like in a mirror motion. Hop, hop, and go up and down. And then combining it into a little dancey, bouncy mode with your body going also to the sides, bouncing from your knees, from your legs. Okay? So, what is my hint number one? Use both hands, because it might happen that even though you might be right-handed or left-handed, somehow it will be easier for you to control the hoop and its movement with the opposite hand. So try both, okay? What I showed you in this video was me holding the hoop with right hand and creating the illusion with the left hand, okay? But at the same time, I can switch. I can be holding the hoop with my left hand and just creating the illusion with my right hand, okay? As I told you, there is another combination for this trick, which is going to be switching the hands, okay? So I'm first doing a motion with right hand, then I'm switching and I'm holding it with the left hand. Maybe it is somehow useful to go and transition from this movement with one of the hands that I was using, okay? So either you want to transition the hoop later on to the left, maybe you want to use the left hand, or maybe to the right, using the right hand, okay? So use different combinations, okay? Now let's take a look what happens if the hoop goes a little higher. So I'm bouncing in this mode, and then I'm lifting the hoop up and letting it drop. There is another possibility to create this illusion of a bigger bounce. Okay, so the ISO bounce can be here, super low, like I'm, having this basketball, or maybe I want it to be a soap bubble and just fly high and go down. adding the movement of your body definitely helps to create the illusion. So once doing the bounce of your hoop, when you follow with the body in the same direction, so when I'm going down, just dropping the body a little down and going up with it, maybe going with the bends of your head, also entering this dancey, bouncy movement, it will also help you to create the illusion. So I'm really hoping that it was a clear explanation. I tried my best, like I did like 20 rehearsals before recording this video, like the final version, because it was, for me, it is quite easy to understand the movement, but to transfer it to somebody and explain it in a very clear way, it's not the same. So I really hope it was helpful and that you understand the movement and that you can already do it. If not, if you still have any doubts or hesitation, leave me a comment below and I will be happy to solve it. And also leaving the comment might help the others. So don't hesitate to do it. Subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for the next upcoming tutorials, because this is my main focus at the moment. If you haven't seen the video about 10 tricks for total beginners, then jump into the link in the description now, check them out, and if some of them is interesting for you, then request a tutorial in a comment. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video and see you in the next one.